Hello folks, Mr. Natural here, and I'm picking up from where I left off on the previous video because I can only post 10 minutes at a time here. We're now moving to the bass clef, and here we have a sharp on this line. So 1 would be on the space above because the last sharp is always the number 7. Let's erase that and go to the next. This space here, this sharp is on the space. So 1 would be on this line right here. If we remove that, the rightmost sharp this time is on this bottom space. So 1 would be right there on that line there. We remove this, and again, the rightmost sharp is on this line right here. So 1 would be on the space above that. In this next key here, we have again the sharp on the space, so the line above it is where 1 would be. In this next one here on the space, the sharp is on the space, the number 7, so the 1 would be on the line above that, and whatever that letter name is, that would be the name of the key for you interested in names. And here, finally, this sharp is here on this line. So this number 1 would be here in that space right there. Now, it turns out that if we use the alto clef, the same would be true. If I have here, this is showing us where the letter name C is at. In the alto clef, the first sharp would be put here, the second sharp would be placed here, and here it's on the line, so 1 would be on the space above. And if we erase that and have just the 1 sharp here, this is on the space, so on the line above that is where that would be. Now for flats. Here in the treble clef, we have flats. The last flat is always the number 4. The last flat is always the number 4. So if that's 4, 3, 2, I have to put a ledger line down here, and this is where the number 1 would go for this particular key signature here. If I erase that and put that there, again, this flat is on this space, so that would be 3, 2, 1. So in this case, 1 would be on this line down here. So you can see it's a little bit more of a problem with the flats. Again, if I remove this flat here, this last flat is the number 4 on this line. So again, a 4, 3, 2, 1 would be on this bottom space underneath the staff is where 1 would be in that case. If I remove that and we have 4 flats, this is 4, 3, 2, so 1 would be right here on that space right there. If we remove that and we have 3 flats, 4, 3, 2, this time 1 would be right there on that bottom line. Again, to erase that, we take the rightmost flat, 4, 3, 2, 1. So 1 is now on that line. And again, if we erase that, we take this flat on this line, which is 4, 3, 2, 1. So in this case, 1 becomes this bottom space of the staff. The same would be true for the treble clef. For the bass clef, except the flats are in a different location. Now here, the flat is under the thing. So instead of counting down, this would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And so 1 would be right here. Remember, the last flat is 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So this space right here is where that is pointing to the number 1. If we remove that, this space I can count up 4, 5, 6, 7, and put 1 up here, or 4, 3, 2, and it would be on this line down here. So this line down here would be the number 1, or that space right up there would also be the number 1. Remember, it goes from a line to a space because there's only 7 numbers, and 7 is odd. Okay, let's remove that. Again, I can't go down without putting in ledger lines, so we think 4, 5, 6, 7. So here we go. 1 would be right there on that line. So this is the number 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 would be on this line right here. We remove this flat, then this flat on this line becomes the number 4, 3, 2, 1 would be right there on that space, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 would also be on that line up there. You can go in either direction. You just have to remember this is the number 4. If I count up to the number 1 or I count down to the number 1, depends if you have room or not. So here, we take that off, and again, I could count down 4, 3, 2, put a ledger line here and put that there. Or I can count 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And on that space right there is where the number 1, or the line below the staff, we call that a ledger line, would also be the number 1. For this flat here, which is on the space, again I can count down 4, 3, 2, 1 and place it right here on that line, or 4, 5, 6, 7, and it would be right up here on the top space. And again, for the last flat would be the number 4, 3, 2, 1, so 1 would be underneath the staff in this case, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 1 would be on this line up here. Either of those would be the number 1. And we can see that over here for the alto clef, even though the flats rearrange into a different order, this is still the number 4, 3, 2, 1, so we would either have a number 1 there. Over here, in the tenor clef, the last sharp here to the right is the number 7, so here's where 1 would be for that key signature. And for the flats, this is the number 4, 3, 2, so right there is where the number 1 would appear for that. So the clef doesn't matter. We can throw it away. It's almost immaterial, not to be used or thought or considered of at all. The thing is where are the sharps or the flats? The last sharp is always the number 7. If it's on a line, it would be the space above. If it's on a space, it would be the line above. Or I can count 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, going down to find it, whatever is convenient depending on how high or low it is on the staff. And for the flats, the last flat is always the number 4, 3, 2, 1, or 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, and we can find the 1 again in either direction. The clef doesn't matter. It's all about the sharps. It's all about the flats. The last sharp, 7, last flat, 4. Last sharp, 7, rightmost flat, 4. Rightmost sharp is 7, rightmost flat is 4, the rightmost sharp is 7, the rightmost flat is 4. That will always be true no matter what. And then you can find out where 1 is and begin to enumerate 1, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, or count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, etc. Thank you very much. This is music by Interval, and welcome to the our new channel here on Strictly by the Numbers.